Don't look at her being pregnant with a baby, but it doesn't affect her sleeping with her friends. The mother and child lost their lives in the Xinjiang River because of their promiscuous behavior. The 20-year-old beauty, with her hot and charming figure, has married 2 men and even had affairs with 3 men. She was so promiscuous that even the biological father of her unborn child didn't know who he was, which eventually led to their tragic deaths in the Xinjiang River. On April 2, 2014, in Tongren City, Guizhou Province, at noon, ferryman Wu Laohan was leisurely rowing his boat on the Xinjiang River as usual. Suddenly, he saw an object floating on the river surface in the distance. Initially, the 60-year-old Wu Laohan thought it was an abandoned sofa, but when he approached, he found that it was a body wrapped in a plastic bag. Without thinking too much, Wu called the police on his phone. The body was found upstream on the Xinjiang River. After the police arrived at the scene, the investigators immediately salvaged the body ashore. At the scene, forensic experts and criminal investigators examined the body, which was only the upper half. The head was wrapped in a yellow woven bag, which was covered by a yellow plastic bag labeled with potassium sulfide, a type of fertilizer. The body was also tied with a rope, and at the end of the rope was a piece of cement brick. Based on the preliminary examination of the scene, the investigators believed that this was a heinous murder and disposal of a body criminal case. The on-site police then removed the woven bag wrapped around the body, revealing a female corpse in front of them. After a preliminary examination by the forensic expert, the age of the deceased woman was estimated to be around 20 years old, with a height between 1 to 2 meters. There were no items such as bank cards, mobile phones, or identification documents on her body that could prove her identity. The forensic expert inferred that the woman was killed by someone and then disposed of in the river. As time passed, the victim's body gradually decomposed and swelled, eventually floating to the surface of the river. Further examination of the body by the forensic expert revealed that the woman had been dead for about 2 weeks, around March 17, 2014. Combining the analysis of the water conditions in the Xinjiang River during March and April, the police determined that the dumping site of the body was in the river channel 3 to 5 kilometers upstream. In order to conduct a comprehensive examination of the body, the forensic expert decided to perform an autopsy. However, the scene that appeared before the forensic experts during the autopsy shocked them. Discovery. There was also a male stillborn found in the womb. Analysis shows that the male stillborn was around 7 months old and well developed. This proves that the deceased woman was killed just before giving birth. So, who would kill a pregnant teenager? We believe that the death of the victim is definitely related to this child. If we can find the biological father of the child, we can solve the case. To find a breakthrough, the forensic team extracted the deceased's DNA and sent it to the DNA laboratory for testing. They also entered the deceased's DNA data into the National DNA Database for matching. The identity of the deceased woman was quickly revealed through the match. The DNA data of the deceased matched completely with the DNA data of a criminal named Ho Wan from Nantong, Jiangsu. This means that the unidentified female corpse is Ho Wan. It is known that Ho Wan was 24 years old and from Bawang Town, Tongren City, Guizhou Province. After receiving the clue, the police decided to investigate Ho Wan's social relationships before her death and find the biological father of the child in her womb. The forensic team extracted DNA information from the fetus found in the throat and obtained the DNA of the child's biological father. However, after comparing it with the National DNA Database, no conclusive result was found. It was learned that Ho Wan was involved in a criminal activity before her death. The police contacted the Nantong police who handled the case at that time. The feedback from the Nantong police revealed that Ho Wan was involved in a marriage fraud case in Nantong and the victim was a man named Lu Min from Nantong. The police suspected whether Lu Min had any suspicion of committing the crime. After being deceived by Ho Wan and losing a large amount of money, would he choose to retaliate? During the investigation, the police learned that after being arrested for committing the crime while pregnant, Ho Wan was granted bail by the Nantong police. Just a few months later, Ho Wan was found dead in the river. The police found Lu Min as soon as possible. After a detailed investigation, it was confirmed that Lu Min had no suspicion of committing the crime. There were people who could vouch for him, and he had been working in Nantong during the time of the incident. Lu Min's suspicion was ruled out, and the case clues were forced to be interrupted. At the same time, the police in Tongren rushed to Ho Wan's hometown based on her household registration information. They hoped to learn more about Ho Wan from her family. Ho Jia is Ho Wan's older brother. He provided information to the police that when Ho Wan was 9 years old, their mother passed away. Since then, the two siblings have been raised by their father. Since 2012, Ho Wan has been in a relationship with a taxi driver named Tang Tao. After learning this clue, the police found Tang Tao to gather more information. According to Tang Tao, he and Ho Wan were lovers and had been living together. Tang Tao told the investigating officers that on the evening of March 15, 2014, Ho Wan received a phone call and left the house. She never returned after that. As law enforcement officers, we definitely need to investigate and find out the truth. Who did he answer the phone from? Who was he with and where did they go? Is Ho Wan's murder related to this phone call again? The police immediately retrieved Ho Wan's call records and found that on the evening of March 15th, a man named Wang Jun had called Ho Wan. It is reported that Wang Jun, 25 years old, is from Shiqian County, Tongren City, Guizhou Province. So is Wang Jun the murderer who killed Ho Jun? In order to find out the truth, the police went to Wang Jun's home for investigation. According to Wang Jun's mother, he was not at home at the time as he was working in Guangxi. When the investigating police mentioned the name Ho Wan, Wang Jun's mother said that she was his daughter-in-law. He and his son Wang Jun had just held a wedding ceremony on March 8 this year. Therefore, the police contacted Wang Jun, who was working in Guangxi. According to Wang Jun, Ho Wan is indeed his wife. The two met through online chatting. Upon learning this, the police were extremely surprised. On one hand, Tang Tao claimed that Ho Wan was his girlfriend and they had been living together. On the other hand, Wang Jun claimed that Ho Wan was his wife and they had already held a wedding ceremony. Using our normal reasoning, how could one woman marry two men at the same time? So we believe that one of them must be telling the truth and the other must be lying. By checking Ho Wan's marriage registration information, the police found that Ho Wan was indeed married, but the person she registered marriage with was an unnamed man from Tongren County, not Wang Jun. So, is Tang Tao or Wang Jun the person Ho Wan deceived into marriage? Considering that Tang Tao and Wang Jun might seek revenge on Ho Wan after discovering they were deceived, leading to her death, the police believe that Tang Tao and Wang Jun have significant suspicion of committing a major crime. Two people were randomly interrogated by the police and were individually questioned. During the questioning, Wang Jun stated that he got married to Ho Wan on March 8, 2014, and then went to Guangxi for work. He did not return to Tongren during this period. After investigating, the police confirmed that Wang Jun was indeed working in Guangxi during the time of the crime, and there was no record of him leaving. Therefore, Wang Jun's suspicion was ruled out. Based on the investigation, the police learned that there was heavy rain on the evening of March 15th, according to the Tongren weather report. In such bad weather, why would Ho Wan, who was pregnant, choose to go out alone? Based on this, the police believed that Tang Tao's previous statement to the police was false, and he was lying. Subsequently, the police went to Tang Tao and Ho Wan's home for investigation and evidence collection. Through careful examination by the criminal investigation team, suspected bloodstains were found on the floor and bed in Tang Tao's house. After examination, these suspected bloodstains were confirmed to be human blood, belonging to the deceased Ho Wan. Based on this evidence, Tang Tao became the prime suspect. The police immediately arrested Tang Tao, and in the face of strong evidence, he admitted to killing Ho Wan and disposing of her body. According to Tang Tao's confession, he met Ho Wan in March 2012 when she got into his taxi. They exchanged contact information that night and started a romantic relationship. In order to be with Ho Wan, Tang Tao divorced his ex-wife and started living together with Ho Wan. To provide a better life for Ho Wan, Tang Tao worked tirelessly as a taxi driver, while Ho Wan stayed at home and often went out to play cards to pass the time. However, Tang Tao never expected that during this time, lonely and empty Ho Wan met a young man named Wang Jun through online chatting. Soon, they developed a romantic relationship. In October 2013, Ho-won became pregnant. Both men were extremely excited upon hearing the news. Tang Tao, who had no children from his previous marriage, considered Ho-won's child as his own and worked even harder. Meanwhile, Ho-won started staying out all night and began living together with Wang Jun. Tang Tao seemed to have sensed something was wrong. In a conversation with Ho-won, he learned a shocking truth: the child was not his, but rather the child of Ho-won and her boyfriend, Wang Jun. Despite this, Tang Tao forgave Ho-won due to his desire for a child and decided to raise the child as his own. However, what he didn't expect was that on March 8, 2014, Ho-won had a wedding with Wang Jun. Unaware of this, Tang Tao continued to live in his own fabricated dream until he heard the conversation between Ho-won and Wang Jun on March 15, 2014. His dream was shattered. Thinking that Tang Tao was already asleep, Ho-won told Wang Jun over the phone that she would soon go to his house to give birth to their child. Upon hearing this news, Tang Tao completely lost control and brutally killed Ho-won. This was the truth that came to light when Tang Tao was imprisoned. Neither of these two men knew that Ho-won had already married a nameless man at the age of 16 and had a son and a daughter with him. Due to an argument with Wu, Ho-won left her family. She later met Tang Tao and Wang Jun. Wang Jun, unaware of Tang Tao's existence, remained oblivious throughout the entire ordeal. Through DNA comparison, it was revealed that Tang Tao was the biological father of the child in Ho-won's womb. Upon learning this news, Tang Tao, trapped in remorse, shed tears of regret. Are you still thinking about doing something that is already too late? You, this child, have lost him like that. Even if he marries her again. This is a jaw-dropping case that deserves our deep reflection. A lie is always a lie and will eventually be exposed, revealing its true face. Ho-won paid the price of her life for her lies. The Rabbit is here to warn all the fans who are currently in the world of emotions. When we deal with emotions, we must approach them with a responsible attitude, with more sincerity and less deception.